Welcome back to Greenwich Valley for episode 4 of our debt recovery series with me, MrSealyp. Okay, the thumbnail kind of gives it away, but, well, gives it away, it will give it away because there'll be a picture as well. I'm going to have to pull the trigger on something here. We have the potato problem. We own field 109, I think it is, down the bottom. I keep saying we, I know, the farm owns it, and it's got potatoes in and they're ready to harvest. Now, we have been made an offer on that field. Somebody wants to buy it, which is fine, that's great, but I would in a heartbeat just say, okay, we'll just get rid of it, let's just offload it then. But the stipulation is they don't want any crop in it, because they don't want the hassle of having to deal with the potatoes, they just want the land. I'm wondering whether or not they want to use it for development, because it's down towards the all the kind of building. Where am I going? Let's go that way. Yeah, it's down towards where all the kind of industrial kind of complex is. So I'm wondering if they want it for development, or it could just be for contracting purposes. So we have an offer on it, which is fine. Now I'm going to have to pull the trigger on potato harvesting equipment, and it's a bit of a dilemma because we'll make the money back, and when I say we'll make the money back when we sell the land, with or without the crop. If we harvest the crop, we'll make a bit of money, but I think most of the money is going to cover the cost of leasing the equipment, because the equipment's not cheap. We're going to go for a bigger potato harvester, and there's also a reason for that. Whilst it's more expensive for the initial lease, and I'm sure someone will go out and they'll work out all the facts and figures and they'll tell me I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. This is what I'm doing, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. That the initial cost and the hourly lease is fairly expensive, but I'll get it done quicker. There are trailed potato harvesting bits of equipment. I forgot to indicate again, didn't I? Whoa, on the tree. Which are cheaper to lease, but they're way smaller, which means they'll take longer, which means you'll be paying more on your hourly leasing. So it becomes a bit of a kind of a trade-off. I think it will probably work out cheaper if I did the trailed stuff, but it's going to take me so much longer, so many more unloads. And like I say, the end result of this is realistically selling the field. We'll get shot of it. That'll be one field we won't have to worry about. We'll make a bit of money on selling it. And if we do make any money on the crop, that's a bonus. As far as ploughing and all the stuff I was going to be doing in this episode on our own fields, we'll worry about that later. Because that's my other concern, is to get a plough that we've got enough horsepower to run. They're tiny. I could get what used to be the Weber 6 metre and run it backwards, and that won't be an issue with horsepower, so that potentially is an option. A few people have said, well, you just need to do no-till seeding. That's fine, but the seeder we've got isn't a no-till machine, and we're supposed to be having said all that, we're trying to save money. I have leased a trailer for doing the potatoes. This is specifically for potatoes. It's got a potato catcher, so when they go through, they fall through that rather than dropping straight through and splitting and damaging in the bottom of the trailer bed. So we'll be using that. Yeah, to sell this planter we've got, seeder we've got, to get another one that's a direct drill, I don't know. I'm just thinking we might be better off just whizzing over, ploughing, and then just using the seeder we've got. That's, again, rightly or wrongly, that's the route I'm going down. Whether you agree with that or not, you're of course entitled to your opinion. I will be doing this whichever route I decide, really. And again, thank you for all the offers. There's loads and loads of people out there. I didn't realise how many people are farming in the local area, offering me all sorts of stuff, all sorts of equipment, and I really do appreciate it. So we're going to go with this. Like I say, it's expensive initial lease. Per hour operating cost is a lot more, but because it's bigger, we shouldn't be harvesting for as long. Like I say, it probably will still work out or expensive. We started just now with what was it? We were on 119. I think we were on 122 and I leased the trailer. So if we say 122, what we need to do is before the end of this, or before, when we finish this harvest, we need to be 122 grand or more, and we've made money. It doesn't matter if it's only a little bit of money, but we will have made money. Now, something else has been pointed out, and I completely agree. Now, I'm pretty sure I said this when I first had a look around this area. Getting out of this yard with wider tractors, bigger tractors, larger harvesters is almost impossible. And it's one of the reasons why you kind of end up being limited to what sort of machinery you can use. This bit's okay, he says. I'm not sure it is, you know. Can we get around there? Bit of backwards and forwards sneezing, I think. And this highlights that point really nicely. Yeah, I mean, it kind of, for the area, and I don't know, I suppose it's that situation, isn't it, where people have a habit of whatever map they're on, they don't use machinery to that map. They don't play and use the things that fit the map. Some people will automatically, every map they're on, biggest machinery, most expensive, widest headers, as fast as you possibly can, get everything done at the speed of light. I've always been more of a player that, it's got a very long front on this, you use the machinery that fits the map. If it's a small map, small machinery, you're not going to get away with massive machinery. And it does surprise me sometimes when I get comments. People will message me and say, this map's rubbish, I couldn't use the blah blah blah, it wouldn't fit through the gates. Or, well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of common sense, isn't it? I just thought, yeah, there are going to be some maps you can't use big stuff on. There are going to be maps that are designed specifically for the big stuff, you know. Anyway, while I'm doing this, today, actually depends when this gets posted, today a new DLC has been announced. It's the Greenland and Vicon pack. There's a whole lot of stuff in it. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description for the video. I will probably put the link up on my Facebook page, and I'll probably like and retweet it. I've just been recording and editing this morning. I haven't got a chance to get onto doing all the social media side of things yet, but I will do. So what we'll do, we'll get this out. I'm going to get this started. I'll whiz back, grab the trailer, bring that back. We'll have to get these potatoes cleared. And then we'll turn our attention to the ploughing and all that kind of stuff, but this needs to be done. And it's going to take some time. What time is it now? 10:29. I reckon for the size of the field, we're going to be looking at 2 o'clock. Remember, I've got this on ×1. I only ever speed up time to go through the night normally. I don't generally speed up time. So I reckon we're going to be looking at easily for 4 hours, 3.5 hours. If I'm wrong, I will be pleasantly wrong, happily wrong. It's just way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Oh well. I have had loads of local farmers offering their workers, offering help. Much appreciated. It does mean I don't have to rely on my employer's grandson. Well, my employer's son, the grandson of the guy that used to own the farm. But yeah, he's a new, well, not a new farmer, but he's learning. Let's just put it that way. He's learning the ropes. Wow, this is a big field. Okay. I'll see you in a little while. I'll see you when we've got our first load. We'll work out where the best place is to sell. I might keep some of this for feed for the pigs. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Yeah, this is going to fill up really quickly. That's a lot of potatoes already, isn't it? I was just driving down the road here, and I was thinking there was another reason why I was going for this potato harvesting situation, and it just suddenly dawned on me what it was. It's lack of horsepower. Whoa, 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 you saw me swing out and I'm indicating. Moron. Look. Farm vehicle indicating, slows down, swings out. Some people. Anyway, yeah, it's the vehicles I've got available. If I had a trailed potato harvester, I think one requires 110 or 120. One requires 150 horsepower to pull. So I would need to use this probably for the potato harvester. Although this is fairly flat, I might have got away with one of the Masseys. Although that being said, the one that's got the 100 horsepower or just over 100 horsepower is only a two-wheel drive. Still indicating, see what I mean? But then I need something to haul the trailer as well. I'm not using our small trailer because the amount we're going to get off this and how quickly the harvester fills up, I would be backwards and forwards. I mean, I could probably go on with something bigger than this anyway, but this is what we're going with. So that's why I was thinking, why did I go for the self-propelled? I know there was a reason why, other than, you know, the time it will take and that kind of thing, but so we get that under there and the potatoes go through that rather than bouncing down onto the thing and potentially getting damaged. I mean, that being said, this is still only going to take not even 2 full loads and it's going to be full. We are going to be backwards and forwards, aren't we? Oh no, maybe a little bit more than that. Forgotten what the capacity of this is. Right, beacon off. We'll find out, won't we? While we're heading up the side here, let's have a quick look at prices for potato. 321, 383, 315. Oh, they were better than that last night. I was up over 400 at a couple. That's terrible. It's just a pity the biogas plant doesn't take them. That would have been amazing. Get digestate as a byproduct. Unfortunately, locally they do not have such a facility, but it is what it is. Shall I go down? Trying to kind of get myself a boundary if I can. Like I say, it's not necessarily working how I thought it would, but we'll get there. I wonder how long this is going to take. Those tracks gotta be so careful. This is an amazing bit of machinery, it's incredible. I know when I was at Agritechnica for the Farming Simulator League, oh, some of the machinery and equipment that does these sorts of jobs is phenomenal. The engineering and the stuff that goes into it to make this all work, but the sheer size of them as well, it's amazing. I really hope. Oh, yeah, actually I probably can't tell you about it yet, but something in the pipeline that I'm hopefully going to be taking part in, which may give us a chance to talk about and address some questions and things that I've got in my head. But I was thinking about the whole, carrots and carrot harvesting machinery, and or cabbage, or just something, just another one with some new machinery. Don't get me wrong, the mods that are coming out, a bulk of the mods that come out I love. I absolutely think they're fantastic. What I really do love is when we have mods released when it's something new, a new piece of machinery or an amalgamation piece of machinery or something that we haven't really come across in game before. Those days I really love. I think that's brilliant when that happens. So I think a new crop type, not necessarily just to have a new crop, because a lot of the new crops we get use the same machinery, but a new crop type that uses a new type of machinery, that is just brilliant when that happens. And then we follow again, and I'm right by the fence. Don't know if we're getting close enough, are we? This is mad. Okay. Rinse and repeat. First full load, 25,100 litres. Linton Mill is the best price, so realistically it's actually not far away from the field. Not realistically, it just isn't that far away from the field. So this is where we're going to be offloading. This is going to be our gauge for how much money we're going to make. So it's not going to be big money. I'm thinking if we've got a third pretty much what we get off the field. So 25,000 litres, a third of that is roughly what we're going to get. Oh, that's a bit better than I thought it was going to be. Okay, well, enough loads like that and we'll be okay. But like I say, every hour we've then got the cost of the lease of the machine, so we've just got to keep ahead of that. As long as we can do enough loads per hour to keep ahead of that, we'll be alright, I think. Hey, this is farming. realistically, the margins aren't massive. You know, I know in game we like that gratification of, you know, big payouts and taking stuff and making maximum money, and everyone wants to do that. Every farmer wants to make the most money they possibly can with their crops and produce and livestock and whatever it is. Realistically, small margins. It's not big money stuff. Not unless you're farming gold or something, I'm not quite sure. So, see you later. Much later, I think. This is load number 8. As you can see, big chunk of the field has been cleared. We are now just over 2 hours in. I reckon we're going to be knocking on 2.5, maybe 3. By the time we got all the rest of this done, maybe not. I don't know. Somewhere around there, 2.5, 3 hours. As you've already seen, ploughing has begun. That's being done by Rob, our pig farmer. So one of our tenant farmers, Rob, he's going to be he finished what he was doing this morning, so he said, you know what, I'll jump on the plough, get going. So we've leased the 6M rather than buy it, because we're only going to use it every now and again. So we thought we'll lease. We're running it backwards. We're not going for deep soil penetration. We're not trying to go too far down. This is more of a kind of drag and scrape type affair. Plus, by dragging it, we're not hang on, let's put the beacon on. It's not too taxing on the horsepower of the Massey Ferguson. So it is working. It is giving us what we need. It is ploughing. If you turn it around the other way, it just won't pull it. So because I'm using this for hauling, that's what we're up to. So Rob's on that, you've seen that. So this will be the 8th load. That takes us up to just over 200,000 litres we've done so far. As you can see, did that just change? Yeah, so 2 hours in, the harvester has just gone, just clicked over 2 hours usage. That's why it's just dropped by another 10 grand. We were on 145 a minute ago. But we are keeping ahead. If you remember, we dropped down to 90-something thousand, didn't we? Started the episode on 122. Leased all the equipment took us down to 90-something. And I said, as long as we end the episode after the potato harvest above 122, we've made money. Then we'll sell the field. So as it stands at the moment, we are making money. Not massive profit, but it doesn't matter. It's in the right direction. We're not losing more, which is, you know, where we need to be. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort for the money we're getting. There are easier ways. I'm seriously considering, from my experiences in farming so far, of bringing a bit of equipment over, not like free, but my kind of knowledge of. I think we might get the AgroMash BM75. That's dropping every single time. We started off each load, we were getting 9,300 and something, or 9,400 and something. That's gradually dropped, and now that load was 8,905. The last one was 9,1, so it is dropping quite quickly. What I'm going to do is just have a quick look, just to make sure this is still the most profitable place to be bringing them. Yeah, 354 at Linton Mill. It's still the most profitable. Makes more sense to bring them here rather than anywhere else. Yeah, if you again, you may be new to all this. You may not have seen me use this before. You may not have seen any of my videos before. As far as getting fertiliser in states go, because we haven't got a lot of money, we have got liquid fertiliser in storage. When that runs out, we're out. So a good way of coping with that is by going into weeders. If you've got it installed, the AgroMash BM75, it's 27 grand to buy, 7.5 metres, but because it's like a mulch harrow mixing crop, it's like stubble, like it says at the bottom there, mulch harrow is intended for mixing crop residues with soil, stubble fertilisation. So you can have it as a weeding option, or like that, a fertilising option, and it's free. You get a fertilising state without having to actually use any fertiliser. For the situation we're in at the moment, that is pretty much a given, I think. It does mean we can pick up fertilising contracts for other farmers as well, and it not cost us a penny to do the job. So that's potentially an option I'm thinking of going down. Everywhere you can save money. It's, you know, funny story about that, and I'll just chuck this in there. I can't remember what program I was watching, and it was about that kind of thing. It was about airlines and all sorts of stuff, and they were talking about airlines saving money and how, you know. And one of the airlines, and I can't remember which one it was now, and this was kind of, you know, in the business class sections and across the plane generally. One of the meals came with olives, so they decided to reduce the amount of olives by 2 on each meal. Nobody noticed. You wouldn't necessarily, unless you flew regularly and suddenly thought, hang on a minute, I've got 2 less olives than I normally have. It reduced weight on the plane for all the meals, 2 olives being removed. The cost of 2 olives per meal was taken off. The cost of weight on the aircraft, which meant they didn't need as much fuel, and it sounds bizarre, but it's true, they saved hundreds of thousands. And it's another reason why a lot of companies go for light coloured paints on their aircraft as well, and some aircraft companies leave their aircraft silver because of the weight of the paint, believe it or not. Certain colours, certain pigments are heavier, and it saves them money on fuel and all that. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? It's absolutely incredible. So anyway, that came off the back of me talking about fertiliser and saving money in every way we possibly can. To me, that kind of makes sense. So I'm going to carry on. I'll see you again at the end when we've got it all cleared. We'll see what we've got, what we've made, and then contract will go through and we'll sell the field. Rob will carry on doing the ploughing, and if we finish this before he finishes, we'll take over and we'll do the fields closest to the farm, because I'm pretty sure he's got other things to do, but he is helping out, which is wonderful. At 1:20 in the afternoon, we have finished. The engine hours on the potato harvester are saying 2.5, probably not far off dropping on 2.6. Time wise on the clock, we're looking at about 2 3/4 hours, which is kind of what I thought it was going to be. I said, well, I thought 4 originally, but that's not too bad. It has taken a while. It is all cleared. We have made a profit, which is where we needed to be. This is going to be collected by the store. I have to say, in every area I've ever worked, every farm I've worked on, the store staff are fantastic in these places. Coming out, collecting vehicles, dropping off things, it's just, they're brilliant. So, just want to throw that out there. While I'm driving this over to sell, Rob, the pig farmer, has carried on. He's now on to one of our fields behind the farm, field 15. Still getting to grips with the field numbers. Field 15 is done. So nearly 3 out of our 4 fields are done. It does mean we can now sell this one. The contract will go ahead, it will be signed, because the potatoes are now cleared. Now, yesterday I was talking to Alex, and something we were discussing, and he asked if I could just kind of do a shout out, not for him, this isn't, I just mentioned his name, but not for him specifically. He was talking about the situation we find ourselves in at the moment. We were talking about small businesses, and because I'd said on the video, the first episode, about farms closing and that kind of stuff, and he was saying about small businesses and farm shops, and said, would I be able to give a shout out to small businesses, small business owners, and just to say to people, support them, support your local businesses, support your local shops, stores, farm shops, farmers. You know, if there's a farm near you that sells produce, it may well be that the farm shop itself isn't open, but get in touch with them, maybe they can deliver. We recently, a while ago, switched back over to having our milk delivered by a milkman, which is kind of these days, you know, people don't tend to do it, they just go down to the local supermarket. And he always sends letters out, you know, 2 or 3 times a year, telling people what a difference it makes and thank you for your support and that kind of thing. I just think in these times, we are at risk of seeing a lot of these small businesses and local businesses just disappearing. They're disappearing anyway. Big supermarkets, big chains are driving the prices down on things, and there's another reason why farmers don't get paid as much for stuff. And the supermarkets are driven by the consumer. Consumers want things cheap. You know, at the end of the day, you don't want to be paying a fortune for things. The problem is then when they're negotiating with local businesses and farmers and farms and all the producers of all the various different things, they then aren't paying as much to the farmers because they need to keep their profit margins high, or as high as they can do. You know, you see what I mean? I don't want to preach. I'm not preaching. I just think if we can, if you know anywhere, even if it's just one small business near you that can supply you or provide you with any kind of service, just give them a thought. I know some of them aren't open. Some of them are closed completely. I know various different things we've been trying to do recently. We've been ringing around people, and people just aren't answering the phone because the actual business itself is closed for the time being and that kind of thing. So we're at risk of the fact that some of these places are gone already, you know, which is sad when you think about it. But yeah, just have a think about it. If there is something near you, you can maybe support, maybe like I say, farm shop, or might be someone down the road just sells eggs out the front of their property, you know. Go and buy some, just help them out. You know, I know that farm shops and stuff, because of the supermarket thing I just talked about, are a bit more expensive, and it's always, you know, we always used to pop out to local farm shops, and the price of meat and stuff, it isn't cheap, you know, but the quality I often find is far, far superior. That's just my own personal, what I've experienced. But I said to Alex I would mention it. He said, could I use my platform to kind of spread the word? Absolutely, I completely agree, you know. Just have a go. Just try and find someone that you can maybe support during these difficult times. I'm going to take this trailer back, and then we'll go back over to the farm, check on Rob and the ploughing situation, and then hopefully we can get that field sold. Now, we had to make over 122,000 to break even. We were on 122, we dropped down to about 94 with all the leasing. We're back up to 156, so we have made money on that potato crop. So it's a win-win all round now, because it does mean that when we sell the field, none of the profit from the field is going to go into recovering losses as such. So we're going to do right out of this. Very pleased with that. It's taken a bit of time, as these things often do. You know, when you're doing silage, harvest, potatoes, sugar beet, you know, anything like that, it's just time consuming, you know. This has been recorded in a couple of phases. I did find the link for the new the DLC that's due out. It's due out June the 16th. Vernon and Vicon equipment. There's a huge list of stuff on the equipment list, but the link for the video trailer type thing is in the description. So yeah, if you want to check that out, that's pretty cool. So back to the farm. Check on Rob. This could probably do with, we did a bit of repair and maintenance in the field because it needed a bit, and it does need a wash again, but such is the case with the farm machinery. In the time it's taken me to drive back and possibly stop for a slight snack for lunch, the field has been paid for. 193 grand. So that's good. Bank balance is up to 350. We are going to make our first payment off the debt in a minute. But what we are going to do is finish off the ploughing. Rob got called away. He had some work to do. And he's left his tractor for me to complete. I mean, I could swap over to the JCB, but what I'm going to do is made a start on here. Field 32 here. Field 33 is done. That's ploughed. Field 15 is ploughed, and field 70. I want to say 78. I want to say 78, but whether that's the right one or not. Yeah, field 78 by the pig farm. That's also done. So our fields are now ploughed, but field 32 here needs doing. They'll all need a second fertilising state put on them, which we will also look at, but that's probably going to be in the next episode. Now, what I will show you is what I was talking about. Now, the point about this being a reversible plough is not in so much as it's not supposed to be reversed like this. It's not. The point is you can either run it on the front of a vehicle, so it's got 3-point link either side of it. When it says reversible, that's what it means, is you can run it on the front of a machine like that if you've got enough horsepower, so it will, I think, give you a ploughed state ahead of whatever you're using behind, or with the 3-point link on the other side you can put it on the back of a machine and just run it as a regular chisel plough subsoiler type piece of machinery like that. The problem is the horsepower requirements with it in the ground like that excuse me, mean if I put it on like this, and with the horsepower of this particular tractor I drop that into the ground. See the wheel slip? And what I love as well, look at the wheel slip between the two rear. One slipping more than the other. It's not a standard kind of, oh yeah, both are slipping. It's yeah, so that won't work with this particular horsepower. That's the thing. So what we'll do is we'll disconnect. And if we put it on backwards, which is again, you're not supposed to, but like I said earlier, we're just dragging. We're not doing the full deep subsoil. So we put it on that way round. I think I did this on Sussex Farm as well. I know a few people said, oh, he's an idiot, he's put the plough on the wrong way round. But if you put it on this way round, it means this will now pull it, because we're not digging in as deeply, we are dragging, and we can actually get it up to a bit more speed. So if you can imagine those chisels, because they're faced the wrong way, they're kind of almost bouncing along behind, so we're getting the ploughing sort of state, just not as deeply. Go with it, it's fine. So what I need to do now is complete this field off, and that'll be them all ready. We'll be ready for seeding, but like I say, I don't know whether to plant seed and then fertilise, or I could just whack another fertilising state on now, because I've changed the ground state from stubble to ploughed. I could put another fertilising state on now, so before I even put any seeds in the ground I've got my 2 fertilising states that I need. That may not be a bad idea, but again it depends whether we do get the agramash. I think we probably will do, but I do need to, I'm going to use all the liquid fertiliser first. I'm going to get out and do that. What I might do is lease a front tank though, because of the coming backwards and forwards, so just lease it while we use what's in that tank. Once we've run out of liquid fertiliser, then we'll return the leased front tank and we'll get the agramash. I think that's probably what we're going to do. At least that's kind of what I had in my head, so whether that is what we end up doing or not, only time will tell. The hands of fate don't often go my way, but we'll see. I was trying to think the other day what the square-ended ploughs were that we had on FS19. Kind of like this chisel. They were jimpers, weren't they? It was JYMPA, was it? The jimper ploughs, they were good. Different sizes on that range as well. But this works perfectly. So then what we'll do when we get to this point here let's just stop a second. Just turn the engine off a second. Let's go into... I'll get my tablet open on my lap and we'll go into our finances. Oh, we do have a contract open. We've got a fertilising one, they're active. So that's on field 12. That's right over the other side of, on the eastern side of the area, over by the cow farm. So we'll whiz over and we'll do that. Again, I'm going to get the front tank. That'll probably be in the next episode as well. We'll get over there, get a front tank, get that sorted. But, hang on, if I missed it. There we go. So, 1,745,000. Let's repay some of this, shall we? Let's pay off 100 grand. First 100,000 coming off that balance. Did I just pay more than that? Okay, 100,000 off the balance. Our first little bit, but it's coming down, and we've still got 250 grand in the bank. I mean, realistically, I could do another 100,000 and still have 150 grand in the bank, which is still more than when we started off with 22 grand. So we're doing all right at the moment. So what I will do is continue ploughing this field, and I will see you on the next one. We are making progress. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.